With version 1.2 coming very soon, this means we gotta talk about our first character on the list, which is going to be Blade. Now with Blade bringing a whole new playstyle means that we have a brand new set of characters that are going to work well with Blade and characters that won't work so well with Blade. So we're going to be talking about that, and we're also going to be talking about the characters that are going to be surrounding him when it comes to his banner in regards to Kafka, Fu Xuan, and Dan Heng. So we're going to be taking into account all of this, and let's go ahead and start talking about his kit, because yes, we do need to talk about his kit so that we're able to say why these characters won't work and why these characters will work. Now for Blade, his main gimmick is losing HP, whether it be through his skills or from getting hits from enemies. He wants to lose HP period so that he's able to get stacks. With these stacks, he's going to trigger his talent, which is going to be a massive follow-up attack that's going to do damage to the whole wave, and is going to do some nasty damage. Now the thing about this is that with wanting to get hits, with wanting to lose HP, this nullifies a whole path of characters, which is going to be preservation. Japard, Fire MC, and March 7th are going to be unusable when it comes to Blade's best teams, because although you are going to let Blade get hit, he won't be losing HP and he will not get stacks for his talent, which is going to stop him from getting his follow-up attack. So for characters like Japard, who has innate taunt and also has a beefy shield, Fire MC that can use taunt and has a shield as well, March 7th can put aggro on Blade, but with the well-built March, you are going to be having a pretty bulky shield, so it's going to take time for enemies to pierce through it, making him lose stacks. So there's a lot of things going against these characters for putting them on Blade's team, just because you are getting his stacks and making it harder for him to get his stacks so that he's able to get his AoE follow-up attack that you really want to do. So preservation is going to be basically a no for his team. Two characters as well that will be harming him when it comes to his best team is going to be Clara, because yes, Clara through ult is going to be taking taunt. This is going to be annoying for Blade because he wants to get those hits. And not only that, Welt, who of course is going to make the enemies slower, which is going to make them take less turns and also make them do less attacks, ultimately making them do less stacks for Blade. So these are the characters that aren't going to be working so well with Blade. Now you can put them on if you want, you just won't be benefiting from his follow-up attack that does some crazy damage. But for the characters that are going to work well for Blade, well, we need to talk about his most important friend, which is going to be a healer. Now, although he does want to get hit, he is going to be losing HP through skill, he still needs a healer, even if he heals off ult, because he will end up being low health, and especially in the higher floors in Memory of Chaos, you cannot afford an ally to be that low health when it comes to those enemies hitting you, because they absolutely shred your life bar. So for characters like Luocha, Bailu, and Natasha, they are going to be Blade's best friend. Now Luocha is by far going to be the best possible partner for Blade, just because he has so much passive healing, whether it be through his skill doing auto heal on 50% HP or his field that heals on attack. There's a lot of different avenues for HP that you're going to be getting from Luocha, and this is by far going to be one of Blade's best friends. Now of course you can offer to put Bailu or Natasha with Blade, but that leaves a problem that I do want to talk about, which is going to be on the second half of your Memory of Chaos floor. You are not going to end up having a healer if you only have Natasha. So not having an extra healer for your other team, or having another defensive character for your other team, is going to put quite a detriment to the survivability of that team for the second half, or whatever half for Memory of Chaos. So you do need to think if you have enough survivability characters, because of course there will be more in the future that will come out. But at the current moment, with Blade needing so much help with surviving, because he is going to get healing through his ult, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive through massive waves of enemies attacking him, but you're still going to need a healer at the end of the day. So if you only have Natasha, it might be hard to run Blade just because you won't have a healer or possibly even a shielder for the other half if you're only going to be using Fire MC, which his shield does get shredded very quickly. So this is the role that you're really going to primarily want to look at, because he is going to want a healer for sure. Like I said, shielders don't work on him because you do want him to get his stacks. So you're going to need a really nice healer to be able to consistently heal him, and hopefully not to the point where you have to keep spamming skill, because that would just be very bad for your skill point economy. Now for characters that are going to end up working well for Blade are going to be the debuffers and the support characters that are going to be running with them. So characters like Bronya, who's going to be giving him an extra turn, also giving him a crit damage buff, is going to be absolutely amazing. Characters like Silverwolf, who's going to be implanting wind, debuffing the heck out of the enemy, this is also really good. There are characters like Pella, who's going to be taking a buff off of the enemy, which is going to help with those Mara struck, but it's going to help with that attack boosting characters that are on the field. And also she does have a defense shred for the whole wave, which is going to end up working out really good for Blade, because his follow-up attack does hit everyone on the field. Yukong can work as well, although she is skill point hungry. The follow-up attack can benefit from it, and also his normal attack, which is enhanced, can work with one turn of Yukong's bowstring, so this could end up working pretty well if you time it correctly. Now, although it is a meme, Ting Yun can work really well because you are going to be getting more ult energy for Blade, You're also going to get more attack buffs as well when it comes to Ting Yun and buff speed if you have Eidolons. Now for the meme though, she might be taking up all your hits for Blade, which funny enough, if that's the case, that'd be funny that she ends up being a detriment to Blade's team. But in all intents and purposes, she can be a really good buffer for Blade. Asta can work as well. If you have Fire Shield Break, you can have that. You also have the speed buff from her ultimate, so this could be really nice, and her attack boosting. And then other than that, that's pretty much it in regards to all of the characters that can work well with Blade. You do have a good amount of options when building him out, not like other characters, kind of like Kafka in a way, because Kafka is going to be a little bit more limited in her having a bunch of dot characters or having to be built a certain way so that you're able to make the most out of her kit. Blade is going to be more of a selfish DPS, not really a team player. He's going to want the enemies to be debuffed in regards to defense and not really speed, so that you're still able to let them get hit, but they take more damage when Blade ends up doing his attacks. So you do want to make sure that you're not hindering the enemy in any way, shape, or form when it comes to speed or giving Blade a shield so he's actually able to get those stacks. Now with that being said, there are banners coming up in the future that are going to end up being a little hard for you to summon on Blade just because of what the other characters are going to be. Now Kafka and Dan Heng are going to be DPSs, and with DPSs I always say the same thing. It's kind of like ice cream flavors. You pick the one you like, you pick the ones that you want to eat, because at the end of the day, you aren't going to be changing anything really besides the team you're going to be running. They all do the same thing. They all do damage. It's going to be overall the same thing and not really anything that's really important. So you just pick the one you really want. If you really want to go for Blade, go for Blade. Kafka and Dan Heng are going to end up doing the same thing for their own elements. You might get them in the future. You can get them during reruns. So don't worry about that. But to worry about is going to be Fu Xuan, because she is going to be Quantum Preservation, which is going to be a big change for the Quantum team for Mono Quantum. This is going to be really exciting to look at. Now, in regards to her being a preservation unit, we do already have, like I said, Japard. We also have March 7th and Fire MC. So it is going to be nice seeing a brand new character added to this path that is going to help out in regards to keeping the team alive. Of course, we have no information in how she's going to act or feel. So the safe bet is, if you have been wanting Blade for a very long time, you should just go ahead and go for him. But there are going to be some characters that are not going to work so well with them that you probably have already built, and some characters that are. So with that being said, you should go ahead and go for him if you really like him. He's going to be pretty easy to build rather than the other characters in the future, like Kafka needing a bunch of dot characters, Dan Heng supposedly possibly needing a bunch of imaginary characters because they are trying to build up that mono style teams. And then Fu Xuan, we have no idea what she does. She could be just an ordinary shielder, so there's no 100% guarantee that you should skip Blade. You should just go ahead with what you want. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all to the end of the video. Let me know if you're going to be summoning for Blade, and let me know what you're excited for in version 1.2. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.